7 o'clock spot is supposed to be informational, and it's supposed to be educational and so forth, and shows which produce some kind of knowledge to people. And you can do that in a very dramatic way.
For decades, the world knew Lorne Greene as the gentle patriarch of Bonanza, calm, wise, and the unshakable father figure audiences loved. But what if everything you thought you knew about him was only half the story, a secret interview tape, leaked online for just a few hours before vanishing forever, revealed a side of Greene no fan had ever seen. Behind that warm smile and reassuring presence was a man carrying decades of frustration, betrayal, and quiet bitterness, feelings he had hidden from cameras, co-stars, and even close friends. In that fleeting recording, Greene whispered words that would shock anyone who idolized him. "I was betrayed." And some people cut deeper than enemies ever could. One name, one colleague, left a wound he never fully healed. This was not just professional tension. It was a deeply personal scar, hidden beneath the polished image of Hollywood's golden age. Tonight, we're peeling back the layers, revealing the untold conflicts, secret rivalries, and emotional battles that define the real Lorne Greene. Stay with us, because the truth behind the man you thought you knew is more shocking than fiction. And you won't want to miss a single revelation. The first name burned painfully into that memory was John Wayne, a man Greene admired, yet eventually associated with an avalanche of frustration. Their so-called feud didn't begin with arguments or clashing egos. It didn't begin on a dusty set or inside a crowded production office. It began in April 1966, inside the elegant halls of the Beverly Hills Hotel, during a press conference for Wayne's film El Dorado. When a reporter asked Wayne if TV westerns were hurting film westerns, Wayne answered casually, but within hours, his comment was twisted into a headline war, painting him as the enemy of Bonanza. When Greene unfolded those newspapers in his dressing room at Paramount Studios, he wasn't angry, just crushed. A careless remark had turned him into the unwilling face of a battle he never wanted to fight. Letters poured into NBC. Reporters demanded statements. Rumors claimed Greene and Wayne despised each other. None of it was true, but once Hollywood smells conflict, the truth becomes optional. What made the situation even heavier was Greene's past. During World War II, he had served as a broadcaster for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, reading daily casualty lists to grieving families. He respected real sacrifice, real courage, real service. So when the press constantly labeled John Wayne, who never served, as the ultimate symbol of American heroism, Greene felt a quiet discomfort. He never attacked Wayne publicly, but the media's obsession with pitting them against each other left a lingering bitterness that Greene carried for years. But the name that hit Greene even harder wasn't Wayne's. It was Clint Eastwood, the man who didn't just compete with Greene, but symbolically replaced him. The shift began in 1966, when Time magazine published a glowing 4-page profile of Eastwood, calling him the cowboy of the new generation. The article described him as the embodiment of raw survival, a man who didn't rely on ideals but instinct. It was a direct contrast to the moral, principled father figure Greene had spent a decade portraying on Bonanza. Suddenly, Hollywood wasn't praising characters like Ben Cartwright anymore. They were praising anti-heroes, colder, grittier, rougher. Newspapers compared Greene and Eastwood endlessly. Critics called Greene the old style and Eastwood the future. TV Guide delivered the harshest blow in 1972, stating, "One belongs to yesterday, the other to tomorrow." Greene said nothing publicly, but those close to him saw the pain behind his silence. But some wounds came not from Hollywood rivals, but from Greene's own on-screen family. Among the heaviest emotional conflicts in Greene's life was his complicated relationship with Michael Landon, the man he loved like a son. When Landon joined Bonanza at a young age, he was energetic, playful, and full of promise. Greene adored him. But by 1967, Landon began writing episodes for the show, earning creative influence that shifted the balance on the Paramount lot. As Landon pushed for deeper, more emotional storylines that centered on younger characters, Greene feared the heart of Bonanza was drifting away from its moral foundations. Script meetings grew tense. Landon believed the show needed evolution. Greene believed it needed preservation. Neither was wrong, but both were unyielding. Their creative tug-of-war reached its peak with the episode Forever in 1972, which heavily favored Landon's vision while reducing Greene's role to a symbolic presence. When Greene read that script, he didn't argue or complain. He simply set it down and walked out, leaving a silence that echoed louder than any confrontation. Despite the strain, Greene never stopped caring for Michael Landon, but the emotional exhaustion of constantly defending the identity of Bonanza left deep marks, especially as Landon grew into the creative center of the series during its final season. External pressures often weighed heavily on Bonanza's creator, David Greene, and one particularly disruptive storm arrived in 1967 with the arrival of Guy Williams. Best known for his role as Zorro, Williams had left Disney under controversial circumstances and was constantly trailed by paparazzi. Yet even before Guy Williams, Greene had dealt with years of tension with Pernell Roberts, who played Adam Cartwright. Roberts constantly challenged scripts, character arcs, and the show's moral tone, publicly criticizing the writing in interviews. Greene respected artistic debate, but Roberts' attacks felt deeply personal, leaving Greene fatigued long after Roberts departed in 1965. Another source of constant, though gentler, frustration was Dan Blocker, the towering actor who played Haas Cartwright. Blocker was beloved by fans and cast members alike, but his carefree nature clashed with Greene's disciplined approach to work. He often arrived exactly on time or a bit late, sometimes after stopping to sign autographs or chat with visitors. He cracked jokes during serious scenes, breaking emotional momentum. Greene never disliked Blocker. In fact, he deeply cared for him, but their opposite personalities frequently tested his patience. After Blocker's sudden death in 1972, Greene was devastated, proving that behind the frustration was genuine love. But perhaps the most draining force in Greene's professional life was David Dordort, the powerful executive producer of Bonanza and The High Chaparral. Dordort was known for perfectionism and fiery temper. Even when Greene had nothing to do with the scandal, he sometimes found himself dragged into it. In 1969, actor Mitchell Ryan was fired from the ABC show Dark Shadows due to personal issues. Though Greene had never met Ryan, reporters brought up the scandal while interviewing Greene, suggesting other shows, including Bonanza, might face similar trouble. Greene was shocked and irritated. He hated gossip and being pulled into another actor's controversy felt deeply unfair. By the time the leaked interview tape surfaced, revealing Greene's private confession of betrayal, it was clear that behind his serene on-screen presence lived a man who had silently endured years of emotional battles. He carried the weight of rumors, comparisons, shifting eras, demanding producers, rebellious co-stars, and a changing industry that sometimes left him behind. But through it all, he held onto his dignity. He kept smiling for viewers. He kept playing the father figure millions needed. And he carried his pain quietly, never lashing out, never shifting blame, never revealing the emotional storms that shaped his journey. In the end, the struggles of Lorne Greene were shaped by friends and colleagues, not enemies. If you found this story compelling, like, share, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes tales from television history. Thanks for watching.